vast majority of athletes think there is only one right way to eat, where in reality, eating and fueling your body is individualized, especially in female athletes. Junior swimmer at ASU, Nora Dulesky, explains how her eating habits differ from her fellow athletes.
It's not even necessarily like I'm choosing not to eat the bad foods. I'm choosing what foods work for me, and then learning how, because one person might need something else than what I need, and how that is going to affect my body.
ASU registered dietitian Amber Udell describes how the goal of ASU's nutrition department is to keep each athlete fueled correctly, while taking into account that athlete's individual needs.
Taking into account those individual needs is like number one. For sports nutrition, we want to try to personalize, individualize what we're trying to educate an athlete on.
Some athletes, such as junior lacrosse midfielder Maddie Hunter, have certain dietary restrictions and have to always be cautious about what they put into their body. Maddie is gluten intolerant.
I have to be more aware of what I eat, so I'll buy gluten-free bread. A lot of times, I'll just have to be cautious about what I eat. I can't eat just any granola bar if I'm on the go. It has to be, I try to make it gluten-free because I'll just feel like crap.
3, 1, 2, 3, go! While each athlete's needs are different, there are some common trends that can be seen among female athletes.
First would be nutrient deficiencies, so iron status is a big factor. Females might be at higher risk for iron deficiency and anemia if they're not eating enough calories overall to keep up with their just physiological demands and their training demands. So that's a big one that we might go through. Work closely with our team physicians to screen for iron deficiency and figure out what the best treatment approach is.
Since nutrition in sports is so individualized, there is a huge need for education. Leanne Blinn, Director of Sports Performance for Olympic Sports at ASU, explains that athletes do not often see this education before entering the collegiate level.
There's not a lot of education that goes on in your younger years, and you have to rely on, unfortunately, we rely on social media, we rely on, what's on TV, and, it's the world of losing weight, it's the world of, hey, this diet, the keto diet, this diet, and athletes, the vegan, oh my God, vegan's the biggest thing now, I can't eat, everything's gotta be plant-based, so it's really educating our athletes of the why and the how.
Athletes such as junior water polo star Amira Van Buren have found it helpful to meet with a dietitian and see a significant difference when it comes to fueling themselves for competition.
Before I met with Amber, I was super conscious about everything and was nervous about every calorie, but then she was like, that's not necessary. You burn so many calories, it's fine. And so since then, I've just been kind of better about it, I think.
After meeting with ASU's dietitian, senior gymnast Jessica Ginn completely changed the way she was fueling herself.
Before I got to ASU, I've seen a dietitian before, and because I kind of struggled with my eating, and I was trying to lose weight, but I didn't know that carbs were so important for energy. So while I was trying to lose weight, I was becoming really I was lacking energy so much in practice, but I didn't know the correlation. I didn't know nutrition affected you so much physically. So I saw a dietitian and I learned a lot about macros, and then I got to ASU and the training went up a lot, and I went to see Amber. I'm I'm starving all the time, I don't know what's going on. And she's like, well, actually you need to up your nutrient requirement.
Jensen Skinner is a registered dietitian at ASU and explains that nutrition education at ASU has many different facets, all depending on how in-depth that athlete is willing to go.
So we try and do pre-practice education or pre-lifting education. We can do education at meals, like you said, the one-on-one counseling appointments. And then some of the other dietitians do things like grocery store tours and cooking demos, just really whatever the team needs are and whatever their kind of want is as far as they want to go with their nutrition advice.
But Maddie Hunter finds that getting her nutrition information from outside sources works best for her.
I really love just kind of researching myself, so I follow a lot of people that, college athletes also, about how they meal prep. I live off campus, so I just kind of get inspiration from other athletes, other places.
While education is important, the main focus should be centered around implementing it into a manageable daily routine.
Athletes need to make sure they're eating you know, throughout the day, they got to make sure they're fueling their body, so it has a significant impact. It's just like not putting gas in a car. If you don't put gas in a car, it doesn't go anywhere. So food's the same thing. You know, food is fuel for an athlete's body.
Senior cross-country star Megan Renowicki explains that fueling immediately after training is critical to ensure you are receiving all the benefits from the workout.
Usually like right after training, like within the next like 30 minutes of like completing a run or like a workout, I like to get something in like Greek yogurt, something that's kind of more like a wet snack, like that has like a lot of protein, just to kind of like refuel my body like right then.
Jensen Skinner explains that it is important to eat constantly throughout the day.
Our philosophy here is you should be eating every 2 to 3 hours. Generally, it's probably going to be 3 meals and 3 snacks every day, but the general rule is eating every 2 to 3 hours, trying to get a little bit of protein in to help keep you full and sustain you until you can get to that next eating opportunity.
While eating consistently is ideal, student athletes have varied schedules that do not always allow it, especially when it comes to traveling.
It's hard because like we'll leave here super early in the morning for the airport, and then like our next meal won't be for another 6 hours, and that's hard. So like I bring like a bunch of like beef jerky and like apples and like fruit and power bars or whatever. That's like important because like you're not like it's not good to go like 6 hours without eating.
Overall, it is important that athletes are eating the right foods, but it is also vital that they feel good.
I do try to eat foods that make me happy in season because a happy swimmer is a fast swimmer. And so they differ in the sense where I will eat more donuts and ice cream, but not like that much more.
In order to be a successful athlete, you have to have enough energy to perform.
Another big factor is this concept of energy availability, which is basically assuring that you have enough energy on board to support all of the physiological processes in your body, like organ function, cell maintenance and turnover, general repair recovery, temperature regulation, hormones, menstrual function, and enough energy for training too.
Amira Van Buren bases her energy intake on how she feels each day and doesn't worry about the details.
I try not to worry about it because when I worry about it too much, it gets in my head and I'm like, either eating too much or not eating enough. So I just eat what I feel is right for that day. But it also kind of depends on like what we did in the pool. Like if we swam a lot, I know that I need to eat a lot of carbs. But if we didn't, then I wouldn't eat as much.
Nora Dulesky knows that eating the right foods is vital in order to perform at an intense level for a prolonged period of time.
Making sure that like you eat the right foods is so important because you want to be able to maintain like that intense threshold for 45 minutes if that's what it is.
Senior volleyball libero Courtney Leffel explains her take on food, that it is there merely to fuel your body, not that it has to taste good.
I would say that I don't really have like horrible eating habits, so it's not like something super hard to change. For me, it's like finding the time to make sure I'm eating enough, and then when I'm eating what my body needs. So like I kind of have like changed the mindset of like going from eating food because it's good to eating food because it fuels my body.
Within each sport, there are certain stereotypes about how an athlete should look, especially in female sports.
A lot of people do think like to be fit you don't eat as much, but that's not the case and you're supposed to eat more. And so we've just decided like we've kind of made a total 180 and just kind of relearned everything that we thought we knew.
Many outsiders believe athletes know all about nutrition and that there are no body dysmorphia issues or eating disorders when it comes to competing at a high level, but that is not the case.
I think women, it's the mindset that you're not gonna get fat if you eat. Like I think the mindset is like the magazines tell you gotta be stick thin and you gotta be that like, you know, beautiful person and everything. Everyone that's beautiful is like a model size kind of thing, but athletes come in all shapes and sizes, so you have to fuel yourself appropriate to what your sport is. And I will tell you from a standpoint, when I was in high school and college, I was bulimic. So like I was more exercise bulimia, like the orthorexia kind of thing, like the mindset of like, oh my God, I can't eat, or I would do cardio for hours, that kind of thing. Because the mindset was like, I need to lose weight, like, but I didn't put it back into that performance aspect. And when I started I played field hockey and softball, and I had that mindset, but then when I started competing and lifting, my body fat, I was leaner when I started eating. Like, my body fat dropped significantly, my weight dropped significantly when I actually started eating and fueling my body to actually train.
Megan Renowicki says that there is a fine line in long-distance running when it comes to stereotypes about what a runner should look like and how to fuel your body.
It's a stigma, and it's like a problem within like the you know, distance running as a whole, of just like, you know, like the thinner you are, the faster you go is like such a huge myth that like a lot of people like, you know, believe. And it's just, so it's like one of those like struggles that like obviously weight plays like a huge factor in like distance running, because it's like, you know, obviously if you're heavier it's going to be harder, but like there's that fine line of like, you know, what's too thin, and like, you know, you really just need to make sure that you're staying healthy and you're really like fueling yourself, because like at the end of the day it's like, you know, you're asking your body to do a lot.
Although female athletes at ASU have learned about general sports nutrition guidelines, there is always room for improvement when it comes to finding the balance between performance and food satisfaction.
I think we can educate our athletes way more than what we have, but I think it's getting better. I think now with the increase of nutrition staff, sports nutrition staff, with the increase of, you know, having meals and providing meals for you guys, I think it's helping. But you can always do more.